Welcome to a brand new season of WEEM Weekly. This is season 5, and I am your podcast director, Caitlin Callan, and I'm here with
Brooklyn Schuyler.
Alrighty, guys. So for this episode, we're going to be talking to all of the new advanced kids that moved from intro up to advanced. Today, we're also going to be talking to a brand new underwriter 4-H, Miss Williams, who runs it. I had a great conversation with her, so stay tuned for that. But let's go ahead and get started with the new advanced kids.
Welcome back to another segment of WEEM Weekly. We're going to be with some more advanced kids. We've got like 6 segments of advanced kids. So do you guys want to say your names?
I'm Luke Denniston.
I'm Sophia Bevan.
I'm Liam Davis.
And I guess I should probably introduce myself. I'm Brooklyn Schuyler. So anyways, what are you guys most excited for this year, both in school and in radio?
I'd say in school, I'm always the most excited about esports. And for radio, just helping out with the team, being on air, just really the general radio experience.
All right. What about you, Sophia?
For school, I'm a huge band kid, so I'm just, excited for the year to go on, especially since I've, in a higher class for it now. And for radio, I'm just kind of excited to, learn stuff and just get good at what I'm doing already and just being in the, comfortability and habit of, being, just doing stuff constantly, you know?
Yeah. I definitely think it's a lot easier. I know, for context, Sophia and Luke, actually, you're both in social media. And this is my second year doing social media, and I definitely think, once you get comfortable and once you know what you like and how you like things done, it makes everything so much easier. You get so excited when you finish something, and you're like, wow, that's, my best one yet. And I think it just gets so much easier and it's so much more fun. Mm-hmm. What about you, Liam?
I'm most excited for baseball season. I'm really big in baseball. And for WEEM, I'm excited to call football games and other sport games.
Do you think do you play baseball or do you want to broadcast baseball?
I play baseball.
Oh, okay. So you won't be broadcasting those games?
No.
Well, that would have been fun to broadcast. I think that baseball, so I do a lot of the board ops, and I think that baseball was probably the most boring. I gotta be honest. Sorry, but it was. I just think that, there's a lot of dead air to fill, but they do a really good job of it, so maybe you can give them some pointers because, you know baseball. Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think that you would want to be now that you've gotten, a little bit of an idea of, the roles and jobs that we have here in radio? Are there any that you would look forward to being next year or so on?
Honestly, I think I'm pretty good staying at just worker level. Having to teach and direct all these kids just sounds like so much extra work when I could just be more efficient doing just the work that I need to get done.
Okay, I understand that. I was never like that, but I get where you're coming from. Sophia, we cut you off. What about you?
I'm in a very similar boat as Luke. I just kind of want to be at, I don't want to be the director of anything. I just kind of want to exist and do the stuff I need to do. I was also thinking that maybe from I do enjoy social media a lot, but maybe trying out podcasts at one point because that looks fun too. So
thanks. We try really hard sometimes. What about you, Liam?
I'm not a good teacher, so I try to stay away from that as much as possible.
Teaching?
So I'd rather be a learner and learn from the people that's better than me at teaching.
But what if next year you're really good at what you do?
Well, I'll think I'll be a good teacher, but then I won't be a good teacher because I think I'll be doing a good job, and then I won't be doing a good job.
Okay, that's so we should just expect the unexpected with you.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is there anything that surprised you this year in radio or something that you did not know coming into advanced?
I'm blanking, man. I can't think of anything surprising. It's about as expected.
All right, that's good. I think that I was definitely not in the same boat as you. I don't know. Intro didn't prepare me very well.
I think the only thing I wasn't necessarily prepared for was the whole concept of VT, but it makes sense that we'd have recorded segments for when kids aren't at school.
Yeah. Do you like VT?
I mean, it's not as bad as everybody else on the staff makes it out to be.
I hate it. It's the worst thing in the world.
Everybody talks like they're getting stabbed repeatedly with
we
a spork.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like it's much more easier saying stuff on air than VT because it's usually just you're by yourself, so you're just this is great.
Sitting in a room today's weather is
like you're just like it's so hard to conversate about something just by yourself. And so you're like, yep, this is what's going on.
And then the transitions are even worse because you're talking to yourself and then you're like, anyways, back to the music. What about you?
Having to do 7 voice tracks in an hour.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I did 1 the first time.
Okay, so it sounds
I thought
like
it was
BTs.
only 1.
I remember that because we were here for who knows what reason. We were here and I hear it and I was like, okay, like we couldn't figure out who it was at first. And then we were like, oh, it'll play again. Like, he'll come on again.
It didn't play again.
It didn't play again. Yeah. And I was even in the class when that happened and I still didn't remember.
Oh.
Either way. So it sounds like you guys are pretty mixed on your opinions of like on air and VT. Because you were saying you were excited about on air, and I feel like most people like dread on air once they realize like it's going on air.
I wanted to be on air on the radio for like ever. It's so much fun.
Really? I could see that. I could see it being fun. I think I've had more fun this year than I've ever had last year. I think I hated it last year.
Oh.
Sophia, what do you feel? How do you feel about on air?
I feel like on air too is fun, but like I was like literally like I did on air one on Thursday. I think it was Thursday. Yeah. And I was like shaking a little bit. Like I like put my hand up and I was literally shaking. I don't know why. I have it in my head that I suck at leading conversations and I'm just bad at everything, but I did fine.
Yeah.
I think I did okay.
I used to like cuz obviously you're supposed to like plan out what you're supposed to say beforehand. And I used to like plan it like a million times and then I would mess up one word and then everything went downhill from there. So I've always hated on air because I'm like, if I mess up one time, just know that artist will not be having the same name as he had that morning. Okay. Song, totally different song. I probably won't even say 91.7 WEEM. So who knows? Liam, what about you? Oh.
I find in life when it comes to making mistakes, as long as you chug on like nothing happened, most people don't notice anything happened.
Yeah, Wire says that too, and I don't think it's gone through yet. Don't think it's processed.
I messed up enough in band to realize that nobody notices.
I used to be in band when I was in middle school, and I think that I messed up a whole entire song, like just while everyone else was playing.
It was middle school.
I had a few concerts last year where I would just like mess up every song, but it's okay. No, everyone says like, "Oh, I didn't notice." Okay.
I mean, you know what? But it's kind of. I think it's not easier, but it's kind of like nicer to have like that many people because when you're 2 on air, I feel like a mistake seems bigger than like when you're out of a group of 20 people with an instrument.
Right.
But I mean, the situation's also different because a lot of people put on radio in the background while they're doing something else, so they don't necessarily
I guess in a concert setting, they're pretty listening.
If they have the radio on this early in the morning.
Which is debatable all in itself. Either way. Liam, how do you feel about on air?
It's definitely better than the voice tracks. On Saturday morning, I came in here and had to do the coaches show with Coach Richmond, and that was definitely easier.
Yeah. You had Michael there, right?
Yeah.
I think that's also nicer. If you guys had to choose, all right, another department to be in, I know, Sophia, you just said podcast earlier. Would you, what department would you go into?
What other departments are there? I don't
know. You know what? That is the average sports answer. It's like, what is Zion doesn't even know what programming does. And we've explained it multiple times. He's been here for 2 years. So we have programming, which is our jingles and legal IDs. That's everything that is put on the radio. It's edited and all that stuff and recorded. And then we have podcasts, which is what we're doing right now. If you can't get just a podcast, you're sitting in it. And social media is everything that's on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook, all the things. It's score graphics and announcements and stories and all the things.
The social media stuff.
The social media stuff.
Probably podcast.
Podcast? All right. So I don't know why podcast is so popular this year, but that wasn't the case last year. What about you?
I'd say I'd want to go into programming mainly because most of my friends are in programming.
All right, well, that is all the time that we have for this segment. Thank you guys for showing up. That's nice. Always like when people show up. But that's the end of this segment, so bye-bye.
Welcome back to another segment of 91.7 WEEM Weekly. I'm Logan Romine, and today I'm joined by
Elena Ihorn.
And today we're talking about radio and her interests. So, Elena, what got you into radio?
Honest, I'm just gonna be honest. I was just thrown into the intro class, and I really liked doing the Boston project and like all the video projects I really liked, and so I wanted to do advanced, and here I am.
So, continuing on off, like, I know you said you enjoyed the Boston project. Like, so far, what's been your favorite experience in radio?
I honestly really like going on air. It's like probably my favorite thing to talk, but I also really like VT. So then if you mess up, that's okay. And you can just restart. So I like both. And I also really love saying jokes on air. That is my favorite.
That's your favorite part about being on air?
That's one of my favorite parts is I can just crack a joke.
Do you like the music we put on here at 91.7 WEEM?
I do. I am just not the biggest fan of Taylor Swift, but but it's okay. Yeah.
So with like joining the advanced staff, what have you learned since joining?
I've learned how to control the boards better and like really what goes on behind the scenes better, like with the football games and the social media posts and everything. Like you get to know what goes on a little bit more.
What department are you in?
I'm in the social media department.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
So far I've just had to make a couple stories for Instagram, and I know Callie has made things for football games, and we have to make scripts for TikToks, and yeah, I really like being in that crew. So
like, what's your favorite part about the social media side of the?
I don't know. I don't really have a favorite because I like pretty much all of it, but I like making the scripts for TikToks. I think that's fun. So I'd say that's my favorite.
Okay. And now furthering on, going like back a little bit, what do you wish you knew before coming into the advanced class?
That's a good question. Probably, I don't know. Their snacks. I would have maybe got them a couple days earlier. I don't know. That's all I can think of.
Okay. So we've talked a little bit about radio. So now let's talk a little bit about like what you're interested in. What are some things that you do besides radio through the school?
I'm on the swim team, and I'm also on the tennis team.
What got you into swimming?
It was just honestly something to do. I started in 8th grade. Now I'm a sophomore, so this is going to be my 3rd year coming up in the winter. And just a fun little winter sport to do. Keeps me busy. And I like the coaches this year. And I love the teammates and the environment of it. Yeah, the only downside of that is 5:30 morning practices. But I'd say that's the worst thing. So,
what's your favorite part about like swimming and all?
I really like bus rides to the meets. That's fun to talk to people. And I also like social kick when we warm up, like with little kickboards and we talk to friends. But I also really like the competitiveness of it. Like you're not in contact with, like, it's not a contact sport, which I really like that. Like you're in your own lane. And I like how you're just trying to get your own personal time. Like you're not trying to.
So, like, what are you most proud of with swimming?
I was pretty proud that I was a freshman on varsity a couple meets last year.
How do you perform? Like, where do you usually place?
For relays, probably 2nd or 3rd, and pretty good. I'd say for sectional prelims, I cut my PR time by 15 seconds, so that was pretty good.
I know you also said you do tennis. How is that going?
Good. This is my first year doing it, and I really like it. I loved it this year, tennis.
What do you play?
I'm JV doubles. I'm JV second doubles.
How did that go this season?
I would say pretty good. It went a lot more smoothly when partners got switched. I feel like it was a lot more easy to communicate because I'm partners with my friend Talita, and it's so much more fun
when you know the person that you're partners with, and it just becomes more of like a fun little thing to do. So,
What's your favorite part of tennis overall?
I also really like the people in tennis, and I also like that it's not super contact. You don't have people pushing you or anything. I would say seeing your personal improvement for that and swimming, like you can just see how you grow with your hits and your swings and whatever with your whatever. So,
Elena, do you have a good joke that you like to tell when you're on air?
well, I have a couple of good ones, but my favorite ever one is, what do you call a flower between your nose and your chin?
What?
A tulip.
Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have here. Thank you so much, Elena, for coming to sit down with me today. And coming up next, we're going to have Caitlin talking about 4-H, along with some other advanced kids, interviewing more people.
Welcome to another interview here on WEEM Weekly. Today I am here, or not today, right now I am here with...
Kellen Bowers.
Reagan Butler.
Alrighty guys, so are you ready for my questions for you?
I can't wait.
Yeah, hopefully ready, I guess.
Okay. So first of all, what department have you guys joined?
I joined sports.
I'm in programming.
Why? Why did you join those departments?
I joined because, I like sports and I enjoy filling out like the rosters and pretty fun.
Okay. Reagan?
I just like editing stuff. I think it's fun to like have a lot of work to do and have to just work on it on my own. Like I just like doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Are you guys interested in any of the other departments? Like what's your like plan B, your go-to or second go-to?
Well, I plan on like trying out some other departments eventually. Probably I'm gonna go with either programming is probably my first one I'm gonna try out.
Okay. Reagan?
I think like I do kind of have like I want to try other ones, and it's definitely probably podcasts.
Yay!
I think that'd be fun. I can talk a lot. And I don't know. It'd be kind of nice, I guess.
I really hope you join podcasts. Let's see. What do you think is better, VT or on air?
I'd probably say VT because if I mess up, I can at least fix it.
That's
But
been the
for-
popular answer.
Yeah, I mean, like, because I tend to mess up a lot. Not like a lot, but like, I do definitely prefer VT. Though on air is really fun too.
Yeah, Reagan?
I honestly thought that on air would be the most popular answer because that's mine by a mile. VT's so awkward, just sitting in there by yourself. But like on air is fun. Like you have someone in there, you
Yeah.
can kind of like talk and goof around a little bit in between your like on air moments. So it's really, I think it's kind of enjoyable.
Yeah. The reason why it's not like the popular answer is because with all of the like, the rookies, they're very nervous about going on air. It's apparently the most terrifying thing in the world. I
fair.
personally think the darkness is most terrifying. But I would have to say VT as well. It's always been my go-to, not department, like area. Like I like being in VT. I like being by myself. I get it done quicker. I don't have to wait on the songs, Let's see. Would you like to take pictures at the football, basketball, or baseball games?
Probably like at some certain point, yeah, I would love to like eventually start maybe trying that out and seeing how I like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Reagan?
You get paid, right?
Not yet. We're not in the budget yet.
Okay, well, maybe then. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's very fun. I've done it for 2 years now, and it is very scary though because you could get hit. I've gotten hit like 5 times at basketball games.
Dang.
I had a guy fall on my feet one time, literally, not fall for me, but I haven't tried baseball or softball because I'm way too scared for that.
Yeah, that would suck. Getting hit right in the face with like a baseball.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
especially how fast they go. That'd be
Yeah, I'm good.
terrifying.
Well, that's exactly how it is for football too. For football, like I almost got a concussion
Yeah.
like the second day I was doing it, but
What happened? Like, how'd you get the concussion?
I don't know what it's called, but it's when they line up and then, they kick the ball and then it goes
a field,
like,
a field goal?
yeah, maybe,
Or
sure.
They were going for that.
Sure. But the football went out away from the field and it went straight towards me and Talon. And so we had to run away. Like I had to like fall onto my stomach so it wouldn't hit me. But yeah, it's pretty scary. So what was intro like for you guys?
For me, it was a little weird at first, with getting used to like all the recording. But other than that, like getting a hang of it got like a much easier, I'd say. But
Okay.
That's kind of what I'd say. First semester intro was really hard. Learning like all the Adobe stuff, learning how to use like the mics and all that it's hard to learn that all at once. But second semester, the projects were harder, but knowing what to do, it really wasn't that bad. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. I don't really remember my intro days, but now that you brought it up, I do remember it being really hard
Yeah.
to understand the microphones. I couldn't even figure out how to save the file correctly.
Yeah, I struggled with that too. I was like, what am I doing? Because I've
Yeah.
never used any of this kind of stuff
Exactly.
until radio.
Yeah, before that, I wasn't a computer person. I didn't really know anything. And then after intro, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a tech person, totally. But do you guys prefer video editing or audio editing?
I'd say audio editing because when we had to do our podcast, I kind of struggled with that. So I definitely say audio editing is a lot easier for me.
Yeah, I'd say audio by a mile. Because video, you have audio and video.
Yeah.
It's not just video, so it's just a whole nother layer. And then
Mhm.
graphics are so hard. Like it's easy to do like decent graphics, but to do good graphics is so hard.
Yeah,
To make them look clean is so hard.
for sure. I have a love-hate relationship with Premiere Pro. Some days I love it. Other days I just want to throw something at the computer.
Yeah, it's kind of finicky. It's hard to get good at.
But I've been in the programming department for 3 years now, so I definitely preferred audio editing. So that's why I've continued with programming. But now I'm in podcasts, so I have to do video editing. So what are some of your guys' goals to achieve for radio? Do you guys have a goal for radio?
Currently, no, probably not. I wouldn't say I have one yet, though. Eventually, I probably will get a goal. Probably just like get better at something, like audio, video editing, stuff like that.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I don't really have like a goal. I guess my goal would be like get good enough to teach others how to do it.
Yeah.
Like I guess right now, like I'm the one being taught how to do stuff, but I think it'd be cool eventually to be able to teach people how to do what I've been taught how to do. Like I think that'd be kind of cool.
For sure. I would definitely say that my goal this year is to make WEEM Weekly better than last year. Have it because Sam basically built it. I want to be better than Sam. Let's see. What do you find the most interesting about your department specifically?
Probably like the people. I don't know, and like honestly, definitely doing like working the games, like doing play-by-play and analyst. That's probably what I find like most intriguing.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know. I guess. I guess knowing what you have to do, like what goes into making the station like function and
Yeah.
work, like the little systems and stuff that all line up, I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's the number one thing I wondered as a kid. I was like, how do they do this stuff? Especially
Yeah.
like with VT, I thought someone was here at night.
Same, yeah. I was like, I didn't know you could record ahead like that. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one of the fun things you get to learn in radio is like how we run the station and how everything is, built. Let's see. I keep saying that every time. For my last question for you guys, are you or will you be doing any extracurriculars outside of radio?
Does it have to be like school oriented?
I guess not.
I mean, I'd probably say volleyball.
Ooh.
I do volleyball at my church. They have like a charity league and they donate, so it's like $50 total because $5 a game, and they donate it to like a charity.
Oh wow! I didn't know you did volleyball. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't like usually go and say like to random people. It's like
Hey, I do
you're not-
volleyball.
okay, whoa. You're not like random, but it's not like I just walk up to someone I know. It's like, yeah, I do volleyball. It's like, I'll just bring it up eventually, but like I don't just say it.
Fair enough, Reagan.
No, not really. The main thing I kind of do is just like work. I love working and stuff. So I don't really do like sports or anything. I'm not really athletic, and
Same.
this is kind of my thing that is like instead of an athletic thing. So no, not
Yeah.
really.
No, I'm not an athletic person at all. That's why I do radio and theater. That's all for me. Speaking of that, that's all for this interview. Thank you guys so much for coming in and answering my questions.
Of course.
Yeah.
Anyways, on to the next interview. This is WEEM Weekly. Welcome to another segment of WEEM Weekly. I'm Caitlin Cowan, and today I am here with
Holly Williams.
already Miss Williams. So we're going to be talking about 4-H. So you basically almost like run 4-H?
Not quite. So
Not
what
quite.
I do, so I'm a volunteer through the Indiana 4-H program. So what's really interesting is that through Purdue Extension of which is a part of Purdue University, there are 92 offices. So there's 92 counties in the state of Indiana.
Wow.
So each county has an office of Purdue Extension. And what that does is that allows programming to reach both 4-H, farmers, and then just general public with different programs. So one of the great things about that is that each county can tailor their program to what they need. So in my case, I'm a volunteer in both Hancock and Madison counties. In Hancock County, I sit on the Ag Association Board, which then helps run our county fair. And so in addition to that, I'm also a 4-H club leader and a 4-H project superintendent.
Yeah.
So the goal of 4-H is for students grades 3 through 12 to be involved in a youth-run organization. And it's one of the largest that isn't tied directly to a school, where it's more of an independent program.
Okay.
And so we also offer mini 4-H programs, and that's for grades K through 2. So they kind of get a little taste of what 4-H is. And
Yeah.
a lot of times people think that 4-H is very traditional, like you have to live on a farm. But when you really start to look at what 4-H programming is and the projects we offer, they offer that we get to help instrument in any county, it's really kind of interesting. So like there's photography, there's collections, there's baking, both food preservations and regular food, and there's all sorts of woodworking, and it's more than just like the animals that like we traditionally think of at the fair.
Right.
And so it's a very diverse program, and a lot of that programming depends on the needs or the interest in the county. And so that's one of the great things. So like stuff that I do in Hancock County is a little bit different than like what Madison County has to offer. And so that's the kind of goal of 4-H, but then to still have some consistency so that they can take projects to the state fair and those kids can compete at a state level.
Interesting. So 4-H is not just farming and animals. It's also like so many different things, right?
Yeah, there is. And like one of the interesting things there also, and one of like the little like smaller known projects is like, it's called verbal communications, but basically kids get up and they deliver a prepared speech, or they do a demonstration for the judges and for a crowd. And so that's one that like, yeah, you can make it about agriculture and 4-H and different things with animals, but like you don't have to. Like you could demonstrate anything you already know how to do. And so that's kind of the really nice thing about 4-H is that it is very like suited to anyone's interest. But I think a lot of times we get focused on the fact that like, oh, 4-H you have to do because that's what we automatically think. Because when we visit the fair, like that's what we go and see. Or the general fair goers go and see the animals and everything. And yes, that's so cool. And 4-H never wants to forget like that as their roots. But there's so many different things. Like one of my kiddo, she's a second grader. One of the things she loves to go look at the fair is the photography projects. And then like the clothes that the kids have made, and just the rockets and the Legos and electricity. And like here in Madison County, they have a welding project that kids get to weld. And I've judged gift wrapping and recycling and all these other things that have nothing to do with like whether or not you can have an animal at your house. And even then there's cat projects and there's dogs and there's pocket pets. And so there's all these other things that no matter where you live, there really is a project in 4-H for you.
Wow, that is actually amazing. I had no idea that like 4-H was so involved with like so many other people's interests and like almost anything. So how long have you been working for 4-H now?
So I was a 10-year 4-H member in Hancock County. And then when I graduated from high school, since you can only be at 3 your senior year, I took a year I went to Purdue. And then when I came back, I became a volunteer in 2007. So I've been volunteering through there with a 4-H project with our 4-H club. And then I became a project superintendent a few years after that. But my mom was in 4-H and my grandma was, and my great grandma was actually a 4-H club leader.
Wow.
So it's kind of in our blood at this point to be in 4-H. So like my kids will be in it. My husband was also in 4-H. So it's really kind of a family ties. And I think that sometimes throws people off too. Like you can be a first generation 4-Her and it's a great place to be. So ever since then, I've served on the Hancock County Ag Association board. This is my second time to be on the board. So I've served 6 years and then I'm back on. And so I'm currently in my 7th year for it. And so it just kind of, my roles kind of evolved from a little bit. And so with the board, you have to take some breaks and things. But I just enjoy working with the kids and helping kind of spread that 4-H knowledge around. And so once, like I said, I was done with 4-H, I thought it was important to come back and volunteer with an organization that provided me with so much because they actually paid for my schooling at Purdue. I won a scholarship through 4-H.
Dang.
And so it covered 8 semesters tuition and fees at Purdue. And so this is kind of my little way to give back to an organization that basically allowed me to attend Purdue debt-free.
Oh my gosh, that's insane. I did not know that they could do like scholarships and stuff.
There's all sorts of scholarships and awards and trips. There's things at the state level and the national level through 4-H, both scholarships and then events that they can attend as well. So it really is a very cool organization that I think a lot of times people don't maybe look into as something that maybe that would be something that they would be interested in.
Yeah. So do you know how long like 4-H has been a thing?
So the National 4-H organization started in 1902.
Oh, okay.
So as a national level, I'm not sure what year it got to Indiana, but probably since, and Purdue is houses the Purdue Extension Services, since it is the only agriculture-based public university. So it's a land-grant university here in the state. And so it provides the programming through it. So it's always been housed that way from it. So since 1902, the national organization has been around.
Wow. That's really amazing. Like, it's been along for a long time.
A long time.
That's really weird how like not a lot of people talk about it then.
Right.
Because it seems like such an amazing program.
It really is.
And it's been for a long time. That's insane. So what kind of how much development have you seen through 4-H since you've started?
So as a 4-Her, if we just look at, let's just say livestock to start with. When I started showing at Hancock County, and I know it's a lot of the same way through Madison and the other counties, it was just your traditional animals. But like in my time, I've seen cats get added and the pocket pets and dairy goats and boar goats also. So we've seen kind of that change. On a state level, we've done things like adding Legos because Legos became popular for kids and model rocketry. And so you start to see kind of where the kids' interests are. They also do these things called Spark Clubs, which you don't necessarily have to be an actual 4-H member to do it. You would just have to see if it's offered in the county. But there's like robotics clubs in some counties. And so it's really kind of growing and evolving where the kids' interests are to help get more kids interested in being in the program.
Wow. Do you guys have anything to do with like social media, like a social media like group for people to do?
So the Madison County 4-H office, they run social media for their individual office. There's also a state 4-H page and a national 4-H page that you can also follow that they have to run with that. And then the same thing for Hancock County for those individuals that may live there, or in Hamilton County. So each office has their own social media following that kind of helps get the word out for both signing up for 4-H, which it happens from basically October 1st through January 15th is when we're trying to get kids signed up for the next program year. So for the 2025 year. And so then the Ag Association, the other part of what I do, we are trying to get events and things to draw people into the fair so that they can see all of our 4-Hers hard work. And so through that, we just try and get all sorts of different areas kind of covered to get as many people as informed as possible about the events and the programming.
Yeah, for sure. Because like that's definitely something you want to get out
Yes.
because for it being here for so long,
Mhm.
and since our technology has grown so much,
Yes.
we definitely want to get the word out.
Exactly.
But going to you personally,
Mhm.
what inspired you to teach here at Pilsen Heights High School? Since you're very involved with 4-H, so why did you want to come here to the high school?
So with that, I actually, as a high school sophomore, sophomore, basically sophomore, junior year, kind of, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I was actually sitting in my agriculture classroom I actually went to Greenfield Central. And so I was filling out an award for FFA, and it wanted you to pick a career that you wanted. And so I knew that I was like, I have no idea what I want to do. And I
Yeah.
remember sitting at the computer at that time, and I looked around the ag room, and I thought, this is what I can do. And it's something that through 4-H kind of got me started in agriculture. And then once I got to high school, FFA kind of just impacted me a little bit more. And so I decided to go to Purdue in ag education. And when you pick that, you actually have the choice of whether you want to do like Purdue Extension and through 4-H, or if you want to come and kind of do the education part and be a teacher.
Yeah.
And so I really thought that through FFA is kind of where I wanted to land. And so that's kind of what I've done. And being able to volunteer in 4-H, I guess I get the best of both worlds, because I get to still teach in a classroom, traditional classroom setting, but I still get to work with 4-Hers, sometimes across the state, depending on where I get hired to like judge at different county fairs. So this year I judged at a few county fairs. So I get to still work with like high school kids and even younger through the 4-H program. But I guess kind of my passion became through the 4-H or through FFA and teaching in a classroom setting more as like the programming that the 4-H program offers.
Yeah, sure. So for my final question for you, what exactly wanted you to underwrite for 91.7?
So the idea behind it, we were talking about, so I'm on the board at the 4-H Ag Association. When we really look at Hancock County and how it sits in relation to Pendleton, it just seemed like the best idea, because there's lots of people who are closer to the Hancock County line that can make the 20-minute drive to Greenfield for events and different things. And so it was really just broadening kind of the idea of who are we trying to get to our fair? And since our fair is about a month before the Madison County Fair, it just kind of made sense for those that maybe wanted something to do. And so this past year in 2024, we were bringing in a rodeo and different events that we thought maybe the surrounding communities might be interested in. Madison County, I don't think, is able to host tractor pulls. And we were having a tractor pull. And we were actually bringing in the carnival that does the June Jamboree. They were moving down the road to our facility to have a carnival. And I thought, as much as people love attending June Jamboree for the rides and stuff, maybe they would make the 20-minute drive to Greenfield come and see it. So it was really about educating some of the surrounding area with what we are offering in Hancock County for our fair. And so the more people we can get there, and then the more money we can invest back into the Hancock County 4-Hers, which is the same thing that happens in all 92 counties.
Wow. Okay. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, but thank you so much for coming in. Honestly, I think I might want to join 4-H now.
Very good. That's the goal, right?
Yeah. But thank you so much for coming in. On to the next segment. This is WEEM Weekly.
91.7 WEEM delivers the best variety of songs, news, and is student run. We produce imaging pieces, live broadcasts, content, podcasts, and more. Our students work hard every day to improve our station. You can support our station by following us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Be sure to also tune into the radio, 91.7 WEEM, on air, online, and on demand.
Hi, and welcome back to another segment of WEEM Weekly. I'm Brooklyn Schuyler, and I'm going to be here with
Jonathan Lambert.
Ray Knox here.
Logan Romine.
Yep, and we're going to talk all about this new advanced group of kids. I guess you're not really kids. You're only like a year younger than I am. But either way, we're going to talk about the new advanced students. So what is one of the biggest challenges that you guys have had in these first few weeks?
For me, it's not necessarily the workload. There's more work, but it's not taking nearly as long as it was in intro, but it's been kind of different, not used to it, you know.
Yeah, I don't think the intro, I gotta be honest, I don't think the intro class like really prepares you for what happens in here. Like the work is very different. You get the basics, but I mean, we do a lot of different stuff in here. Braden, what about you?
So I've been told my voice is very monotone, and I need to fix that. So that's kind of been my goal for the past few weeks, and it's been very hard. I don't know. I just don't hear differences in people's voices, I guess.
That's a good goal because I think I like spent my whole sophomore year and I had to like re-record every single thing I did. Like I think I probably the most amount of times I had to re-record something was 5 times because my voice just doesn't, I don't know, I wasn't smiling and all the things. Yeah. But then I started like this year and I'm like, oh, I can actually do this. So I don't know, maybe it'll take a year, maybe it'll take a month, but it eventually happens. Logan, what about you?
I think it's more just finding something to do. I mean, I work pretty fast, so I usually get a lot of my stuff done. Mm-hmm. And then I just kind of have like a large amount of time where I need to find something to do. And since we haven't really gotten like too far into the year yet, there's not like a lot of backloaded work that could be done. So it's more finding something to do without like other classwork.
Yeah. I think that's kind of funny to hear as like one of the 5 of us that are kind of like the leadership, I guess, in radio, because I think we have a ton of work right now. But also, I guess that's because I'm in 3 departments. Either way, if you guys have, so I was just talking about leadership. Is there any positions that you guys are interested in going for, like assistant directors or directors?
I mean, I don't really have anything specific. I mean, if I think I need more work or, you know, think it would just be fun. I mean, I don't know the specifics on what everything does, so I mean, it's just something I'd have to look into.
But would you want to stay as like a staff member, or would you like to try to go for like sports director your senior year, something like that?
I don't know if I can really do something that high because I'm just not the greatest at big workloads.
I believe in you, John.
It's good to have a support group. Braden's the first member.
I got you. All
right, what about you, Braden?
I'd probably go for podcast because I don't know. I like it. I like editing videos and I like things in segments, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain that, but when things are like in order.
Noted. So I should make you edit like all of the WEEM Weekly segments for now?
I mean, like dispersing tasks.
Yeah, sure.
Like, yeah.
Going back on your word now. All right, what about you?
I'd like to be like a director by like my senior year. That's the goal. I one thing is like I'm really interested in college and I'd like to make my college application look really good, but I also like to take on a bigger workload.
Yeah. Do you know what department you would go for? Would it be podcast?
Probably podcasting or maybe programming if that's another thing that could work out.
Yeah, programming's cool, and I think that's probably one of our biggest like directorial type spots. Because it is like literally everything that you see on the radio is being processed through JC, who's currently our director. What is something that you guys are really looking forward to doing this year or that you've seen us do previously and you're like, that would be something that I would want to do?
Something I really want to do is definitely like play-by-play and analyst for, you know, football. I'm not really sure what's up with basketball or what you're doing in there, but I feel like it'd just be fun and a exciting, nerve-wracking experience, you know, because I mean, it's kind of hard to do anything new when you don't try much, and this is pretty much the only thing I have that's special. So
I think play-by-plays I could not imagine doing a play-by-play. I gotta be honest. I think that is terrifying. But the sports staff, they do a really good job, and I think they have a lot of fun. I usually am back there in the board op spot, so I think I do a lot of like the behind the scenes, and so I just get to listen to like all their conversations, and they're pretty interesting. But they have a good time. I think it's really fun. But it's a lot of work. What about you, Braden?
Let me think.
All right.
Let's go to Logan.
All right, Logan, what about you?
Well, I do like how the social media works, but I would like to maybe up some more like photography related stuff, maybe like some more highlight stuff. That'd be really cool. I know I'm not in social media, but I'd like to talk about that a little bit. But overall, like I think it's really cool. We do a really good job running the page, but I think it'd be really cool if we like maybe highlighted some of our smaller sports, like maybe tennis or something, because football gets a lot of the like recognition around here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think especially with like photos, we can always use more photos. Like I think that's like our slogan in social media is like, if you can get a video or you can get a picture of it, get a picture or video of it because we can always use it. But yeah, would you want to do like photography for football games and basketball games? Is that something
Yeah,
you're
I
interested in?
actually I run a small photography account myself, and then I've been asked to do a couple of things. Like I've been asked to do like a couple of weddings and parties and stuff, but like scheduling conflicts. Like I was in Florida when I got asked to do that, so I wasn't able to do it. So
All right,
I'd
that's cool.
like to start working with that.
That's cool.
I like photography too. I like taking pictures of stuff. I don't have any social media, so I don't know about that. I do like the social media posts, and I like creating stuff about that. So that'd be pretty cool. I do like the podcasts because I put podcasts on in the background when I'm like doing homework or playing Fortnite.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you more into like listening to podcasts or listening to music? Because I feel like everyone now is like music all the time.
Depends because I only listen to Taylor Swift, like strictly.
Yeah.
So it's either podcasts or Taylor Swift.
Anyways, that is the end of the segment and the end of the podcast. So thank you all for joining me.
Welcome to 91.7 WEEM Weekly. I'm Wesley Johnson.
And I'm Callie Petty.
And I'm Caitlin Cowan. All right, so we are now diving into the questions for our rookies here. Alrighty, guys. So, Callie, we'll start with you.
Okay.
What department have you joined?
I joined social media.
Mm-hmm. And so, why did you join social media?
I joined social media so I can like post about things that like I find passionate about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Wesley, I think we all know what department you're in, but why did you join podcast?
Yeah, I joined the podcast department. I just enjoy learning like what people have to say and just like talking to people and seeing what they want to say.
Sure. I understand that completely. Were you guys interested in any other departments? Like, what was your second choice?
My second choice was sports broadcast.
Sports broadcasting?
Yeah.
So you would want to go on air with the boys?
Yeah. Because I like announcing things. I just like talking at like the games. And I like how they have like a little bit of entertainment in their voice. You know?
Yeah, sure. Wesley, what was your second choice?
Yeah, I also considered sports. I like the like atmosphere behind it and like what you get to do. I just am not that educated in sports besides basketball, so I don't.
Yeah.
That's probably not for me.
Probably not, but I'm glad you're here in podcast. Let's see. What do you guys think is better, VT or on air?
I prefer VT. I just think the general like lack of pressure, because like even though like I know on air it doesn't really matter if I mess up. It's just like being able to be there and just know there's no pressure. It makes you mess up less.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd say VT.
VT.
I'd be on VT because like if you mess up, you can just go and rewind it.
I would also say VT because again, if you mess up, you can just go back. Would you guys like to take pictures for football, basketball, and baseball season? Like be able to work the cameras?
Yeah, I would.
You would definitely.
Yeah, I like taking pictures a lot.
Yeah.
So that's something I kind of wanted to be more like into.
Okay, Wesley.
Yeah, I haven't explored photography much, but I have some friends who are like really into it. And I mean, like I might try it at some point. It seems interesting.
Yeah. What was intro like for you guys?
Well, so like at the first part, I didn't really like it that much because I feel like I was just kind of lazy and just didn't want to do anything. But then when I started getting into it, I liked everything that we did and I liked like doing it all because I understood it more.
Sure. Wesley?
Yeah, I'll say the first semester is really dull because it's just giving you the general basics, and it doesn't like do anything that like is like exceptional. But like once second semester came along and we're doing like the music video and voice stuff, I think that's more interesting.
Where you guys started actually doing projects?
Yeah.
Do you guys prefer video editing or audio editing?
I probably need to get better at video editing.
You will.
But but audio editing feels a lot more concise and just like I already have the like stream of what you need to get done down. Video editing is a bit more like I gotta think over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like audio editing better. I like how it's just kind of like put it together and then you work on it.
I do too. I've been in the programming department for 3 years now, and it's just I just know it front to back so
Yeah.
well. So I definitely think that audio editing is for me, even though I have to do video editing now. So, Leslie, let's move on to your questions.
All right, so what are you guys passionate about, and how does radio relate to your passions and those?
Something I'm passionate about is like creating things. So I like to create things for like social media or just like for fun kind of. So I feel like I'm passionate about just creating stuff.
I'm along the same lines. I want to be a movie producer. So, I got to learn almost every single aspect, even if it is radio compared to like movies. They're kind of different, but they're also really similar. I've learned a lot from here. So I already feel like I'm ahead.
Yeah, I like learning how to put together things in this class also, and just like how generally like that process works.
Mhm.
So what do you think your biggest challenge in radio is, or like what do you think made you struggle when you were in radio?
Okay, my biggest challenge was probably like communicating with people. Just kind of like, well, like back in intro, I just like wouldn't say anything. I feel like when I got on here and I started going on air for a couple times, I didn't like talking.
I can relate to that because like last year, I know I definitely when editing, I kind of just like tried to figure it out myself instead of asking Mr. Whitehair questions, and it took me a
Yeah.
lot longer than they probably should have for some things.
Yeah, asking questions was like a big thing because I didn't want to feel like it was a dumb question.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's actually something we talked about in like the senior episode. Like I asked Sam what is something you would tell like the newbies, and he said like we both agreed you guys should always ask questions. Always ask us questions, always ask Whitehair because that's why we're here. We're here to answer them. For me, my biggest struggle is also communication with like my staff because Wesley, you're the only person I share a period with who's in podcast. I don't have any other periods besides with Brooklyn. Even though I have 4 periods, I don't have everyone, which is kind of sad.
Or it's
Poor
all right. So what do you guys think of the group element versus the solo element of radio, and what do you enjoy about each part?
Okay, so I definitely enjoy being alone, like getting everything done and not being distracted. While if I was in a group, I'd like be distracted and not get everything done.
For
on my
sure.
time.
Yeah, my whole life I've been a loner.
Yeah.
I like getting things done alone. And it's also just so much quicker, but now I have to lean out of those things since I am a director. Now I have to teach Wesley how to do things now. So
Yeah, I'm not the most social person out there, but I always find it just like everything goes a bit more smooth when you just have someone to bounce things off and just like have fun with and make it feel less like a job and more like you're having fun with it.
for sure.
What do you want to accomplish in your years of radio, or do you have any general goals? What have you accomplished, Caitlin?
Oh, me? Okay. I have accomplished so much since I've joined radio. Once again, I know a lot of things now that I think will be very helpful for when I take it to college and to get like my not movie degree to get my bachelor's in movie producing. But what was the question?
Just what did you want to accomplish, and what have you accomplished?
Okay, what I want to accomplish is just this year for WEEM Weekly to have the best year, make it better than last year. I think that's my biggest goal. Make it better than Sam's.
My biggest goal this year, I'd say not to procrastinate a lot. Like, am I using that term right?
I guess you like get all of your work done
yeah,
in
like
one day.
not. Yeah, just like not procrastinate and just get like everything done, and not like worry about anything else.
Sure. Yeah, I understand that. Wesley?
For me, I just want to accomplish making the podcast department interesting, and just try to make myself a part of this radio. I don't know exactly. I haven't thought about it too much. But,
Just be a part of 91.7. Yeah, I totally get that.
thank you guys for listening to 91.7 WEM Weekly. That's all the time we have. I'm Wesley Johnson.
And I'm Callie Petty.
And I'm Caitlin Cowan.
Welcome back to WEEM Weekly. I'm Xander Ahuria, and I'm joined with
Ada Brown.
Brooklyn Schuyler.
And today we're talking to Ada about being a new advanced student. Okay, let's get into it. So my first little talking point, right, is what made you join WEEM?
My brother and his friends have always been involved with it, and I always wanted to be a part of it as a kid. So I thought, why not, take my chance at actually joining.
I didn't know your brother was in radio.
Well, his friend was more involved, but he didn't I don't want to say helped, but he was around the group a lot.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you have older siblings?
Yeah, I have 2 older siblings.
That's interesting. Okay, let's go into the next talking point. How did you choose the department you're in?
I kind of I'm good at social media. I'm good at posting stuff, and I'd consider myself creative. So I just thought that would be the best area for me to go into.
Yeah, it's good to be creative. You gotta be creative.
Yeah, I definitely think that I know that. So as I kind of like the assistant director of social media, this is my 2nd year in social media. So I feel like being creative and especially kind of already having an idea of social media is super nice. I know that I didn't really know what I knew what social media was. Obviously I had Instagram and all that stuff, but I didn't know what we did with radio for social media. So I kind of went into it blind, but I think it's really fun. And I mean, I get to see a lot of your stuff and I like it too. So I guess that's kind of a plus.
What were your biggest surprises coming into Advance?
Kind of the setup and how things are scheduled. I didn't expect everything to be fast paced. I mean, I didn't expect it to be slow, but I didn't see that everything was going to be super fast. Not that it's a bad thing. I'm fine with it, but I definitely didn't expect to dive straight into everything.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's I don't really notice the fast, but I don't really notice anything.
Do you feel like in podcast it was kind of a slow start, or do you think we kind of got right into it?
A little bit slower, although that might have just been me.
I mean, you know what? I can kind of get that. I'm also in podcasts, so I kind of get that idea too. Is when we were scheduling and preparing everything, we have 3 weeks from the start of school till our interview is our episode is posted. So I think that it was a kind of slow beginning, but social media was definitely much quicker, which is very understandable, I think.
Don't they do that stuff daily, right?
Yeah, we post at least something daily, and there's always things being made for the future.
What do you think has been the most challenging part about radio this year?
For me at least, is understanding and adapting to Canva, since every time I've made a social media post, I've never really used Canva before, other than an intro. So adapting to all the new stuff on Canva, especially the stuff that I couldn't use on my personal account without paying for. I don't know how all certain elements and overlays and stuff work. So definitely adapting to that has been my biggest struggle so far.
I can understand that. I don't even know how to use Canva. I think I signed in it intro. Never used it again. Let's go into the next one. So the next one actually loops back into the previous talking point, right? So it's how have you overcome that challenge with Canva?
I just kind of got used to it. I feel especially with making so many different posts, I just adapted to it eventually, and I got used to all the new stuff and what I'm expected to do on it.
So you got good?
Yeah. Yeah. Got good.
What about you, Xander? How do you think that you've overcome your split screen challenges?
I looked at the PowerPoint and just copied
the PowerPoints. That's nice. I mean, that's what it's for. So.
Okay. Number 6. Number 6. What are you the most excited for?
Probably like all the stuff that we all get to do like together, like stuff like this, and then like meetings and stuff, like all the stuff that we get to do as a group. I think would be really fun, especially if I ever get to like record any videos for social media. I think that'd be pretty fun too.
I think that's probably like one of my best memories of being in radio is like, oh my gosh, I'm being stared at. But I definitely think that like last year, a huge thing for me, and like I think even going into this year was that I loved like all the things that we did last year. We have like our homecoming parade and we get a float, and I was late to the float building, but I was there on the day of the float, and it was a lot of fun. So those are, I think, probably the reason all of us stay in radio is like those group activities are so much fun.
All right. Is there a project you have enjoyed the most this year in this short little time?
I mean, I haven't really done anything other than create posts. So like I haven't done big projects yet or anything.
What's your favorite post?
Probably the most recent one I've done, the Inside the Playbook one. Just because I think it looks the best.
What was that about?
Inside the Playbook.
Inside the Playbook.
I don't look at social media.
It's our sports podcast. So it's what the sports people they do. It's like about professional and collegiate and Olympic sports.
All right. So next talking point. Okay. So this was your first week of rotations, you know, for 91.7 WEEM. How do you feel about talking on air?
It's definitely a little nerve-wracking, but it really isn't that bad. Honestly, I think being the person that says like all the weather and stuff is like a little bit more intense than doing like the actual talking on the radio. It's not that bad so far. I don't hate it.
I hate the traffic.
I don't like the traffic.
I get overwhelmed.
Traffic is horrible.
I don't know how to drive, so I don't know what any of these roads are. I'm looking at them like, what do I talk about? And then like there's one road with like 16 different like things going on. I'm like, which one do I talk about?
I used to last year there was a road closed on like Mechanicsburg, and I couldn't I don't know why the word mechanic did not process in my brain in time, and I'd say like mechanic every time I practiced, and then I would do Mechanicsburg. And I hated traffic so much because of Mechanicsburg. Yeah, so.
Thank you for tuning into this segment of WEEM Weekly. And I was Xander Ahuria, and that was
Anna Brown
and Brooklyn Skyler.
And
bye-bye. Hi, people. We're back.
Welcome back. We're here.
Yeah. And that was all of our segments, unfortunately. That's all the time we got for this episode.
Our first episode of the season.
Yep. And I think it's going to go good. I think that we've got a good staff. I think we've got a lot of, what is the word?
New people?
No. Potential.
Potential.
We've got
got
potential
potential.
Yes. So I think it's going to be a pretty good year. I'm pretty excited.
I think it's interesting how like we're the only two girls now.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, to be honest, you were the only girl last year for the first semester.
Out of the two people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, now I feel like we're a little more outnumbered.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy we have more people.
Yeah. It's like
so
last
great.
time it was like 1-to-1, right? Me and Sam.
You guys got a lot done by yourselves though. Now we're so spread out.
You know what? Me and whatever his name is, Zion, we were talking about, he was like, imagine if you just had a group of clones that did a podcast together. And I was like, can you imagine a clone army of Brooklyns trying to get a podcast together? It wouldn't work.
No, I had a clone army of myself, I think there would just be 10 Caitlins like making a breakdown. Like dominoes, every single breakdown.
I feel like I would be like so excited and I want to do something, but then like one of my other me's is like, hey, how about we do this instead? And then makes like a whole big After Effects program.
You do that yourself,
I
just
know.
by yourself. Yes.
So imagine if there was 10 of that.
Yeah.
We'd never get anything done.
Oh no.
Yeah. So aren't we glad for our new WEEM Weekly
Staff.
WEEM Weekly
Weekly
staff?
staff.
Yes.
That was synchronized. That was
That
creepy.
was kind of weird. Anyways, all right, that's all we got.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. See you then. Bye.